All right, here's what we're going to do today. We got our springs in. So these springs are for a smaller rider than I. So we're going to swap them out. That's the old part number. There's the new part number. Well, that one's partly rubbed out. So if you're 250 pounds in that range, 225 to 250, you want the 60480-04. So what we're going to do is 10 millimeter socket down there, 12 millimeter here. That'll pull off the mufflers on each side. You need to do that to get to this bolt because I can loosen that nut, but I can't pull the bolt all the way out. So the muffler's got to come off. We're going to loosen this a little bit with an 8 millimeter, just enough to make it free. We're going to support the bike underneath with the floor jack and the board. And then what we're going to do is we're going to remove the mufflers, take this bolt out, and swing this up. We're going to then loosen these collars all the way. That spring will stop about there. So when this collar's up here, the spring's going to move up and down. And that's what's going to give us enough room to move this up. So I'll fast forward through a bunch of the boring stuff, but then when I get to that part, we'll unslow it down so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So let me extend my little mount here. Stick this over here. Make sure we got it aimed right. Let's see. All right. That should have everything in view. So let's get started. All right, battery's low. Give me a second. We gotta swap that out. All right, so now that spring slides up, this slides up and off. Old spring comes off, new spring goes on, and this cup goes up and then back on like that. So I'll put that on, add a bit of tension. That is how you swap that out. That is how easy this is. This is why I love Ohlins. People are like, oh, is it worth spending a couple extra bucks? Well, for the convenience sake alone, I say yes. It's a brilliant way to do it. You don't need a shock press, any of that stuff. All right, so that's in. That nut goes on the back. And we are now done with this side. That is how easy it is to swap out the spring. So what we'll do now, tighten this up. Snug that up. Snug the top up, making sure your spacers are in the right place. Those don't have to be really torque tight, just give it a, it's got Loctite in there, so. All right. And now I adjust my preload back in so the back end won't sag so much when I do the other side. And at this point, you grab your muffler, get your whatchamacallit on there. So that goes on the bottom. Okay, slide that on. Get your foot peg, which is also your mounting bolt. Get that in and snug everything back up. go. So that's one muffler done. Now we just remove the other. Repeat the same process. Very simple, very straightforward. And there we have it. Now, alright, so now we are done. Everything is installed. I can now adjust these. And now what I've got to do is set my sag. So I'll do that tomorrow. We're going to aim for 35 millimeters of rider sag. And then we'll set up the rebound to coincide with that amount of sag. And of course I stepped on the cap for my brake cleaner, so full can of brake cleaner, can't use. Wonderful. All right, so there you have it. That is how you install. And what I'll do to make sure I get the springs set properly, as far as, this isn't for the sag part, but to make sure that they're even, is one of these has a small screw in it. That's your set screw. So I'll use that as the marker. And then what I'm gonna do, just to make sure I got them both at the same starting point, is use a set of calipers and take the measurements and make sure that they're both even. And then I'll count turns, one turn, one turn, one turn, one turn. And that'll keep them, even. So, but these are installed. This was a 15-minute job. Mufflers come off, bolt comes out, swings up, loosen it all the way, take the cap off, slide the spring off, slide the spring on, put it back on, tighten it down. And now we just got to set our sag and adjustments. So that is how easy it is. And that's why I like Ohlins. No need for a shock press or trying to use ratchet straps and worry about it coming loose and taking off the end of your finger. None of that crap. So hopefully if anybody has this bike and has these kinds of shocks and you're wondering how much of a job is this, do I have to take it to a place? No, you don't even have to take the shock off the bike. That's the beauty of it. So stay tuned. We'll have some more videos coming your way.